Baby,
Hi.
you know what time it is.
Please tell me.
It's Studio Johnny Q time.
What?
That means it is time to drop your nerd drawers, baby.
Going commando.
I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm sure it's sexy.
It is sexy. Alright, let's see if we can switch this camera before Smoothie.
Baby,
Nope.
you know what time it is.
I do, and I'm trying to help
It's Studio
facilitate.
Johnny Q time.
I know. You just said it.
That means it is time to drop your
I know.
nerd drawers, baby.
They're done drop,
I don't know
Smooth.
exactly what that means, but I'm sure it's sexy.
Alright. Well, for some reason. There we go. I thought he was going to tell us the third time there for a second. And Streamlabs does not want to switch camera angles right now. Wow, that took like 6 seconds from the time I pressed the button to when it started. So that's interesting. All right. Well, regardless, hail and well met, fellow time travelers. I am Johnny Q. We are here in Studio Johnny Q once again. It is Tuesday and or Thursday, which means that Randy's here with us in our undersea lab for another exciting, soul-stirring edition of Addition Through Distraction. Randy, are you there?
Hello.
Randy, can you hear
What's
me? Hey, what's going on,
Can you hear
brother?
me?
Yep, I can. I can hear you, brother.
Cool.
I can hear you well. Let me try to just do a couple things here. Let's go ahead and see if we can take a look here at our chat topics. You'll notice that the lava lamp has gotten a slow start this morning, so it's just got a little bit of a lift on the right hand side, but it's not fully risen to the occasion. Maybe it's kind of maybe this is my Patronus or something, because and I think it might be yours today too, Randy. I think this is kind of the energy level.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm much akin to the lava lamp.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll look for inspiration as it gets a little crazy. So hopefully so can we. We have our titular moment, which is also our mental health minute, the towers we build. Craft wise, it's going to be us working on our there we go. Our tower, our water tower that we've been working on here.
That's a good topic. The towers we build. Is that's the mental health moment as well?
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, so that's our mental health minute as well, just to kind of keep it all together. Randy, we've been talking about Patreon, and you'd asked for a walkthrough. So at the end of one of these episodes, when it's appropriate, we're gonna do that. We're still building our first 50. Currently, we're at 34. If you want to help us build towards that first 50, their dirty little secret is that we're going to love those first 50 just a little bit better. Shh, we're not going to tell anybody. Jax, keep it down, buddy. See, got Jax all riled up just even talking about it. It's supposed to be super secret. Our games that we've been talking about is Rocket League, and we've been having a lot of fun with that. Our craft review, again, is our water tower. And then also locking tiles. I had painted up at least, I think I painted one while I was doing some airbrushing. Right, so we have a set of these laser and dungeon tiles, Randy, that we were looking at last week. Remember these?
Mm-hmm.
So I airbrushed one of those, one of the walls, and these doors. That had that extra set of doors that it came with. So I airbrushed these, so we have these to be able to work on as well. So that's what we got craft wise. Also, I did get a gift, but I don't feel like struggling with it. We might maybe next session. I got another double-sided poster, and it's from Hellboy, the first Hellboy movie, and it's the villains. It features like the three villains. It's got like what is it, Nosferatu? It's not Nosferatu. It's it's not Genghis Khan. It's the guy you can't kill. The Russian dude you can't kill. Rasputin. Yeah. There's no disputing Rasputin. Yeah, it's him. It's the mechanic.
Something about somebody having his dick in a jar or something.
Whoa.
Weird.
Oh, yeah, that probably is. Yeah, because he was supposed to be. He's an interesting cat. One day we're gonna have to dive into him. Let's see here. Yeah, but it's got him. It's got the mechanical dude who's killing everybody, and it has I think Samael, the demon, in it. But anyways, we'll be putting that up soon. So, all right, let's get crack a lackin'. Let me see here if we can find some angles that might accommodate us. Let me get the M50. Looks like it will cooperate today, so that's groovy. All right, we'll do this here. Well, it is really slow. I think it especially doesn't like it when you switch it to a new scene. It's taking a long time for a new scene to orient itself. All righty, and if we do this, that's a little bit better.
We need to have a movie marathon weekend or something, where we watch like Hellboy 1 and 2, and there's not a 3, is there? And then the reboot.
There is. There's just a reboot, 1 and 2, and then the reboot.
Yeah. So we watch 1 and 2, and then the reboot.
I could be done with that. I love me some Hellboy. I honestly do. Another other thing that we're going to work on is we had this thing's come loose. So we are going to be working on fixing it. So, what do I want to use for that, actually? I'm not sure. But, all right, Randy, so let's get started here.
Did it break?
Yeah, it did.
Glued and came up.
Yeah, let me put it back here. Once it comes into view here, man, I really do need to do a reboot. Yeah, I was using this as one of the pieces that was holding that modular Dwarven Forge bridge, and it's heavy on purpose so that the ends, can anchor it down. And and I think I just didn't have a good glue job on this, and so after weeks and weeks and weeks, and it just ended up, I just noticed it was a little loose, so I went ahead and just pulled it apart. So these were the two pieces. I got to put some glue in here. I think that might be the only place this piece fits. So that's, again, it's not got, looks like this anchor's in the back here. Oh, and then this here. So yeah, there's 3 points of contact. So let me go ahead and work on that before we get into the towers that we build.
I don't know if it's, let me see. It's a little blurry on Twitch.
Okay, let me know. It's looking in focus at the moment for me, but oh man. I'm gonna make sure I'm not having any connection issue. I'll pull up the Twitch feed.
It looks better on YouTube for some reason.
Huh. Yeah, I'm not showing any bitrate issues or anything like that. So
interesting.
I will continue. Yeah, so before I think I was just using some E6000, and I think I would like to try to use that again, except for I'm having a problem that I can't open this without a tool.
Oh, there we go. That's better. I reloaded Twitch and
okay.
It looks good now.
Cool. So I think I'm going to use this. You gotta work quick with this stuff, though. That's the problem.
Which one are you using? Milliput or?
Nah, I'm thinking about using the E6000.
Epoxy?
This.
Ah.
This works really good, I find, for plastic on plastic. If you can... It's like, as soon as...
It stays a little flexible afterward.
Yeah. But it's got its challenges, because it's like, as soon as it starts to touch the air, it starts to not want to...
real bad.
Not to bind to something. I wonder if it would be better, because one of the things that I've been learning about super glue, right, is that I always would super glue both pieces and put them together, and that doesn't work well. You're much better off to put the super glue on one piece, wait a few seconds, and then, put the thing on.
Yeah.
And
different glues will react differently.
With this one, maybe I should actually glue both pieces and put them together, since it's the middle that doesn't kind of like. So you'll get it on one piece and it wants to stay on that, but once you put the other piece in, it's not wanting that. So if I have glue on both of them, maybe that'll help work against that.
Yeah, something specifically say put it on a light layer on both pieces and let it dry a little bit to get tacky before you put it together. I don't know if I don't think that's the same way with that one, but not sure. Don't recall.
Yeah, this one does not have...
The instructions are probably on the back. But we're men, so we don't read instructions, right?
I'm looking at it right now, actually. It's funny that you mentioned that.
Oh, I'll have to take your card away.
They took that away a long time ago. Okay, so it's saying test a small area before use. Apply directly to surfaces to be bonded or repaired. Allow 24 hours for curing. Maximum bond strength might not be reached for up to 72 hours. So that's all of the directions here.
Have you tried the super glue and baking soda yet?
No, I have not.
It's pretty cool. I've used it in a couple applications and it's worked really well.
Yeah, and I've seen it used time and again, and that's a pretty groovy trick. Which is basically that the way I've often seen it used is somebody will pack like an area with baking powder and then apply super glue to the baking powder, and then that helps it kind of glue in a certain shape, and it also, I think, maybe does it speed up the...
Oh yeah, the baking soda almost instantly dries the super glue.
Okay.
And yeah, you can build it up in layers, and then you can file it down. So it's really cool.
Yeah, I've seen that trick used time and again, and it looks extremely effective. I've seen it used for a lot of people like to use it as a means for a gap fill instead of using epoxy or there's this other thing that I think Citadel makes. It's like liquid green stuff that you can use for that as well.
I don't think I've seen that one yet.
Cooper is demanding to join us here. Let's see if he can. Hey you. Hey mister. You want to come over here and say hello? Huh? You want to come say hi's?
Cooper.
Hi, Bubba's.
What's up, buddy?
That tube is new. He's like, what's that? I got my bonies down here. I wanted to get some bones. I'm gonna come down here, just get my bones underneath. On my bed. I'm gonna actually right now try to hide a bone. This is being recorded for posterity. Thank you. Alright.
Is he trying to hide it underneath his bed?
Yeah. Every once in a while he gets that. He'll do it like on the blankets on the couch or in the bed. And hey, was you trying to hide that? What, you don't want your brother to get it? He's funny. He started sneaking some of the bones down here, get him away from Jax. All right, I need to get something to put some of this on, and application tools. Whoa! Wow, there you are, baby. There, I just got my bone. Let's see here if I can. Do you want to snuff a little bit here? Show us. What do you got? Hey, you. What do you got over there? You got a bone? Yeah. Let me see that thing. Let's see that big giant bone you got, goofball. Huh? No, I don't want to play. I'm not your dancing.
Still get the cigar.
Yeah, that's what he's got right now.
Is that what?
Yeah, it's an extra big. It's bigger, and they're like, it's like, I don't know, like that big. He turns around and hits stuff with it, and it's.
Oh.
But yeah, he's funny. Sometimes he holds it to where he looks like K9 from Doctor Who. It's like it's coming straight out of his mouth.
Yeah.
All right, let me get a little something to put some of this glue in. Let me re-shut this door, and we go from there. And then make sure that we don't have anybody in chat that we want to say anything special to. Tater hasn't hopped in. He usually does, but yeah, it looks like another viewer, and Flaskowski and Coxic are the names that I see. So welcome Yola. And feel free to say hi in chat, but we're lurk friendly, so feel free to lurk as well. Are you happy now that you fully do all your bone hides? Hey you. Hey.
It is rituals.
Well, here's another one over here that I need to hide. You can see one of the bones there on the carpet. A big ass bone, big as my head. All right, so let's see here. I have a couple places where I put some containers. So here's one. Yeah, I might just use the back of a CD case that I had here for some. Oh, I've been watching a lot of one-day builds from Mr. Adam Savage, one of my favorite nerd heroes. And it's funny. I forget how much of my workspace down here is inspired by watching him in his cave. All right, so we've got this. We've got glue. We've got that. I want to get me a beverage that I can have handy. Yeah, see, the last one I was watching, he was building, and some of these things have just been nice small things too. It's like he was just building like a rack for his headphones, and I was trying to think. He was using foam core to build drawer organizers. That one I particularly loved. But he had 3 drawers that were his air tools. And so he made boxes that fit into those drawers out of foam board, and then made custom separators based on them after knolling them. And, you know, I do enjoy saying the word knolling, which I have also learned from Mr. Adam Savage, which is basically taking things down. And like if you were to have items, you know, you might position them in a certain way to where the feng shui seems to fit something. There's a very zen process about it. It's very fun to do with Legos when you're sorting out your Legos before you start. But and so he would design, you know, like his drawer here, and then he would just kind of on the fly make them. And he was like, hey, what's up, Mr. Mustard? Glad to be a nerd for you to shout out today. But yeah, so he was making those boxes, and it's like, I think I'm probably going to need to do something like that. I might have to find that and put a link to it. But anyways, all right.
Oh, here I have a definition. Knoll, Knoll, verb 1989 USA, to arrange like objects in parallel or 90-degree angles as a method of organization. It's from Zen and the Art of Knolling on Make.
Yeah, that's
Magazine.com.
So it's Knoll.
Yep.
No.
Knoll.
Not to be confused with Gnoll, that type of knoll, which is like a creature, right?
I think there may be various spelling. I've played different games that have null characters, and I think I've seen different spellings of it. I think I've seen the Knoll as... Yeah,
so I was trying to wonder. It's like, it seems like I'd seen that, but it's like, but I don't know that I had. I don't know if that's, it's my... I
mean, it could be wrong, because it's not immediately pulling that up, the creature up, when I put it in a Google search as Knoll. It's all about the...
Yeah, and I was thinking that I think I might be mashing together kobolds and gnolls.
Yeah.
So I was thinking maybe that. Or I think that maybe you and I are both from a similar Mandela multiverse.
Yeah, that could be. But if you do it the GNOL, it immediately pulls up pictures of the monster.
What's the origin of that word, if you don't mind taking a look?
KN or
no, GN, the creature. I'm just kind of curious. I'm gonna go with German because everything scary that has to do with like fairy tales seems like it comes from Germany. So German tales, German kid tales. But that's a stab in the dark. That's like back when we used to have our trivia that we used to do at the job that we worked together at. And people would be like, man, they hated me because, I won a lot. And it wasn't, I didn't know the trivia. There was no penalty for guessing. And I'm a really good guesser.
Yeah, it was either Yuvi or Lloyd when he got there. Between the three of us, it was.
Yeah. And then there was another guy that sat next to us that was, I think, related to Calvin.
Frank, did he got some? Oh.
There was, and I think you might not have been here at that time, but when Calvin's brother or stepbrother or somebody, I think, worked, and he was amazing. Yeah, he was super good.
Maybe you think maybe that was after I left? I don't remember.
Yeah, it probably was, because
okay.
he sat in he sat where his son sat.
Gotcha.
Okay. So
without doing a deep dive here, I'm getting some conflicting information. This one. Let's see.
Hold on a second. Let me see. Computer, what is the origin of the word knoll?
The noun knoll originated from Latin in the Italian Republic around 1805 to 1815.
Nah, this is it read it as Noel. Noel.
Oh, really? Well, regardless, it would probably think you were saying KN rather than GN.
That's what I thought. Although, if you said it sounded like you were saying that word only came into prominence in 1989 because of a certain book, right? So that's why I thought maybe it might on.
I think they were talking about it being used in that fashion for that particular purpose, knolling. For the organizational aspect. So this one thing says, this is at yourdictionary.com, knoll, G-N-O-L-L, dictionary definition. According to a brief history of knolls by Paul Haynine, they were created by Lord Dunsany in how Numph would have practiced his art upon the knolls, G-N-O-L-E-S. And the name was likely derived from a playing field of the Welsh All Blacks known as the Knoll, G-N-O-L-L, whose name was likely originated from English knoll, K-N-O-L-L. Do your own fact finding. That was...
So everything is everything and everything is nothing is what I got.
Yes, exactly.
That is something. That's interesting. Randy, there's
Then I click on this other thing that says Dungeons and Dragons. The bloody Knolls ate my baby. Really bad accent.
Knolls ate my baby. I've been hearing this thing about how it's fun to use non-traditional accents for races. So don't make your dwarf Scottish. Make them, make them Australian. Or something.
Yeah, it immediately gives you a backstory, right? Like,
yeah, it gives you a totally different feel. Yeah, it makes them totally start to feel unique. There was something else while we were talking about the Knolls, though. There's a book that if you look up, it's called The Book of Pressed Fairies. I believe it, Terry Pratchett, maybe? That did it, and it's a really beautiful book.
Yeah, the artwork is amazing, but it's
yeah. Could you do me a favor and post a link to it?
Let me trying to find a good one.
Yeah, if you find one at some point, that would be amazing. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and work on gluing this up. And the other thing today, though, is I want to put some more wash on this stuff. I'm not happy at all with my homemade wash, and I'm going to need to probably look up the thing again. I bet that what I'm missing is I have too much water to matte medium ratio. Hey, just come on in. Open the door.
That's by Terry Jones.
Terry Jones. Okay. Terry Jones of Monty Python.
Nice.
Deceased, right? I think he died of like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, when was that? Terry Jones.
Probably one of the less popular, I would say. Maybe the least popular.
January 21st of this year, according to this.
Okay, I remember him. Yeah, that he had passed. But I think later in life he did I think a lot of those guys did. Well, a couple of them did some like travel shows or.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe he's talking about some history, like
Michael Palin did.
Yeah, Palin. Remember Palin did some travel shows, and I remember him. Maybe he was doing some like historical documentaries or something like that, like the history of sex
Michael
or
Palin,
something. Terry Jones.
Yeah, Terry Jones. Yeah, he had some historical stuff. I think he may have done a little travel stuff, but I think it was mainly historical.
Yeah, that
stuff.
Yeah, sounds
and
accurate.
With his typical, I think that's actually where I learned about the Egyptian freedom of sexuality and bodily expression and everything with the fertility ritual where everybody just got together in the middle of the street and masturbated and spilled their seed on the ground as a fertility rite.
Hey, it don't sound like a fertility wrong. Yeah, I'll go straight to hell now. Go ahead. All right. Mr. Mustard, how are you doing today, sir? It is great to see you. We could go ahead and before we can start talking about towers when we get to towers. So maybe we can talk a little Rocket League, a little Rock'em Sock'em League. And yes, what a segue! Because Mr. Mustard says, "God, we were on fire last night." I felt that felt really fun. That was a lot of fun last night. Oh, I'm going to work on resetting the M50, Randy. So if there's any thing in particular you wish to mention about the Rocket League, feel free here. I'm going to try to switch something.
I am busy looking for a good link for the fairy book.
Oh, okay.
The best fairy book.
Here we go. Well, I will do this really quick. Yeah, it was like, it's really interesting because even the games that we got beat, there was maybe just a couple of them that we got beat really bad, but having a better understanding of where I am within the Rocket League world, what my skill set is, what I'm doing, what I'm trying to accomplish, makes it easier to take the bad beats. Once we tighten up on working together as a team, we'll start stomping people that are more skilled than us. And that's what's exciting, is seeing people that I know have a stronger skill set than myself and that we win games against them, and we keep a lot of teams to low scoring is exciting, very exciting. Very exciting indeed. Working on seeing if I can get the M50 to cooperate here.
What the? There's a cat butt coloring book.
Huh.
Oh my goodness.
You're definitely going to want a pink crayon for that.
Why can't I find one that shows internal pictures instead of just the cover? Ah!
I need to change the angle to something else so I can see if it's actually... Okay, no, it's not. Read that there are tons of people that have made it to champion on getting really good at rotation and placement. Yeah, and that was the thing at one point where I was saying that we were getting beat with was a lot with trick shots, and it felt like when we were getting beat, and that's just a matter of learning a couple of things. We didn't get beat with a lot of fundamentals last night, and that's fun. And yeah, it is interesting to know how far we can get with just, Me, and especially with the Mexican jumping being that is Mr. Mustard, right? Shadow. It's like I don't think that you and me would ever need to fly because he can take care of the flying pieces and he can take care of the other stuff, and we could go pretty far. I think that our trip through Silver will be very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting trip because we're just at the bottom. We're at the bottom of Silver right now, right? I think. Mustard, I think you can confirm that.
Here, I'm just settling with this. This is just an Amazon link to the book.
Okay, yeah, and then somebody else can,
it
they'll know what
only
it
shows
is.
the cover. I'll add a screen.
Lady
internal shot from
Coddington's
elsewhere.
Press Fairy book. Yeah, it's funny. You can find those quite often at the half price bookstore.
Oh, nice.
I think I've bought 2 of them. I have one and gave one as a gift. Let's see here. So we do try this again. N50 does not want to.
Here's a calendar similar. It's basically the same thing, but in calendar form. Oops. That'll work. That's a good picture. Yeah, that's a good example. Has 3 different pictures, represent it well.
Trying to get the computer to respond to me here. It's
seems like it'd be something out of the Spiderwick Chronicles or something.
Yeah, it does.
Or even Hellboy, right?
Yeah.
Because they had like the Tooth Fairy things that would have done well to a situation like that.
Agreed. Yeah, I those things do make me. It does feel very reminiscent. That's definitely the spirit.
Or something that you'd find in Sirius's home from his family. Something his family would have had. Something of the dark arts.
Yeah. It would be. It's what is it? Bottles and Burts or whatever. Borgers and Birds. I can't remember what's the name of the store that's in.
Oh, where they get the Hand of Glory and cabinet.
Yeah. You know what? I hate to do this, but I think I may have to do a reboot here.
Borgin and Burks.
Borgin and Burks. I think I have to do a reboot because everything is just responding super slow right now, and I don't want to have to do that. But I think try this one more time. So there's that. There's the N50.
I wonder if they think it was too gory or something. I think they still showed it, didn't they, at one point? Well, they showed a mummified hand. Maybe they didn't show the Hand of Glory in the movie as opposed to the book.
Yeah,
because they used that, like Peruvian darkness powder instead in the book, I think.
Yeah, the Hand of Glory.
In the movie.
How was it in the book with the Hand of Glory?
Well, you first Harry, I think. You first see it in the shop, and then I think instead of the Peruvian, it's been a while. I guess I need to reread them again. I'm thinking that Draco uses that instead of in the movies when he uses Peruvian darkness powder. He's using the Hand of Glory instead, but I could be mistaken. It's been a while.
Yeah, and I'm much more familiar with the movies than I am the books, even though having read them or listened to them, and yeah, it's all those little subtleties can be interesting. Okay, so
I do recall there was at least one point in the movies where it was like, "What? It's this Peruvian darkness powder. Why are they using this instead of the Hand of Glory or something?"
Gotcha. Let's see here. Mr. Mustard said that he was reading that flying. That for flying, ball cam makes it much easier, and that for dribbling, having car cam makes it easier. Yeah, I can see that because it basically the way that I'm. Yeah, and this is already dry. What I've been trying to do, because I remapped it to where one of my shoulder buttons is one of those. That if something's going to require me to move my head, like if I'm the car is my head and it's requiring me to move my head quickly, very far from left to right, then having the ball cam is probably not going to be great. Whenever it's on the wall, and that the camera switches like really quickly, really fastly, those types of situations, I'm trying not to use it there. Or sometimes I'll just turn it off and on just to reorient, like I'll turn it off and kind of orient myself and then turn it back on. So if I decide that, I need to use it to try to, but it's weird. It's weird trying. You haven't done that yet, Randy, have you? Tried to heavily use the ball cam, or have you?
I started to a while ago and then got away from it, and I haven't gone back to it yet.
Yeah, I recommend starting with some of the trainings, like just doing some of the trainings with it, especially the aerial training. And I'm just using the stock one because I still can't. I'm getting better, but I still haven't gotten to the all-star level yet. So I have a lot of work to do. But it definitely, I feel like it makes it nice because you can keep replaying the same shot over and over, and that helps your brain so much.
Okay, this is saying, this is hplexicon.org. When thrown into the air, it turns the immediate area pitch black, so common light spells and fire magic will not work in the area of effect. That's just the Peruvian darkness powder or instant darkness powder. Although a Hand of Glory will work within the darkness powder. So Hand of Glory in this sense allows only the bearer of the hand to be able to see. So basically, it gives light to the bearer.
Okay.
To only the bearer. So the Weasley twins imported instant darkness powder from Peru and sold it in their shop in Diagon Alley. And when Draco used it during the Battle of the Tower, Jenny said neither Lumos nor Incendio would work against the darkness. So it looks like they used both in that battle anyway. Yep, need to reread them. I've been wanting to anyway.
So underneath here, there's these little places where we had to make sure it's on out. It's going to leave a bunch of this goop. What I find is helpful is while it's still kind of at this stage, try to get as much of it off as you can. It'll make it a lot easier than when it's dried. And then I can always just glue some vines or something to it. All right.
I guess one potential benefit of the for that type of stuff, for the super glue and baking soda method, is that the super glue would like soak into the cracks, and then you instantly dry it with the baking soda, and then it has a bit of that rough texture from the baking soda.
Yeah.
So it would kind of, I mean, it should be easy to take. I would think it would be easy to take some paint. And,
incorporate it into
like,
it. Yeah. Use that texture.
The texture would just like dirty, gritty texture.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, definitely. So here, let's see if I can get out a little bit of this.
And you should be able to file it as well if you wanted to.
Yeah, that's also like again where I was saying it that they like it for gap filling. So like if you're putting models together, Andy, and you got gaps from you're putting an arm into a torso, and that's a good place to use it. Like because like you're saying, you can kind of reshape it if you need to, even with a file. All right, so we got that there, and then this seam here was already looking okay, and so let me just I can move this somewhere. All right. And Randy, it is the studio, so I probably had dropped that piece repeatedly. So that's probably another reason why we had some issues with it. I did blow I blew a bulb today, Randy. I blew our first lava lamp bulb. Didn't take long. So.
Oh wow!
Now I know why the pack comes in like 8. So.
It comes with eight bulbs.
No, but the pack that I bought, I think, did.
Oh, you bought?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I can't remember if this was one from that pack or the first one, or whether, because I couldn't find the bulb. It was in a styrofoam piece that I had misplaced, and so I couldn't find the original bulb. And so I ordered some, but then I think maybe I found the original bulb by the time it showed. So, but all right, let me put this stuff away. And we can continue on. Yeah, man, Rocket League's been fun. That was a great session. And I don't know if I mentioned it to you, Randy, but it was like, Friday when we were playing, and it was kind of, we were all kind of low energy that night. And it was amazing how well we still were all playing that night. And it was like, man, we were, especially defensively, but I felt like we were making some progress on our offensive game last night.
Yeah, they were all real good games.
Yeah, some fun matches. And was there anybody that we were playing? I can only see your guys' quick chats, but I know that at least Mustard he can see everything. Do you have it so that you can see everything, Randy, or do you just see the quick responses from the other team? You can see the quick responses. Yeah.
Quick responses.
And I was wondering if there was anybody that really seemed like they were jerkies. Next game we play, we're going to do horrible because we'll be adjusting to the positioning. Yeah, maybe. It was fun last night, too. That I remember there was a situation that I was in where I was in a spot. This is the rank here, right? I was in a spot, and there was like 2 people, and they wanted me to move, and I wouldn't. And then it was just like, okay, I feel like I'm doing something right. 2 people don't want me to be where I'm at right now. So the point that they've stopped to try to get me to move, and it's just like, nope. I must be exactly where I need to be. And I do really enjoy the slow games, man. And I think that when we make that switch, and I think that we are able to make that switch, which is fun, we do good. Because it's like we can all do some creative stuff, and we're responding well to each other when we do it. It doesn't throw us off, but it throws the other team off. Shadow, it seems like you're feeling much really comfortable, or at least very successful in some of your ball pushes out. We were talking about going coast to coast. Seems like you're feeling comfortable with that. That must have been Shadows needing to reconnect so that he can actually participate in the conversation. I can now? Yep.
Cool.
I was saying good things about you.
Yeah, it's been slowly getting more comfortable with stuff. I still need to work on basic ball control and making sure that I'm getting my ankles and everything right, judging bounces and not using my turbo too much. Making sure I'm actually hitting the ball when I go for it on a regular basis.
How do I want to get... Yeah, that's... And it was like, we were all talking about, like, not understanding the bounces in the corners sometimes. Sometimes that ball hits in the corner, and man, it'll make you look stupid. Because it's like, I didn't think that... I thought it was just going to bounce right back to me, and it ended up taking 3 bounces and going straight toward the goal. I was like, what happened there? But it is, it is a curved surface, and And again, maybe that's where some of those nipples cause. That's what I need to know. I need to know if do the ball nipples affect anything?
I have not seen anything that suggests that they do.
It's a conspiracy. Well, and the thing is that too, you're getting you get odd curves, especially from if you're looking at the arena, Randy and Mustard, right? Like this part right here, like it's flat here, it's 90 degrees here, but in the corner in particular, it's got a really odd curve, and I think that I just don't have the right ability to comprehend where it's going to come out, because I'm used to just it being a flat surface where it comes in at it goes out at the same angle that it comes in, and I don't understand sometimes when you come in at an angle like this and it goes at an angle, I don't know, maybe it's doing that same angle according to this side, but the way that you can put it straight into this wall and it does like a 90-degree bounce in front of the goal is, I don't understand it. I just know that it happens and try to adjust to it when I see it. But it's interesting. All right, I'm going to put some more of this matte medium in. All right. Shake it up. Oh, we just blew a load with the lava lamp starting to give birth.
Training to attain sentience.
Yep. It's alive! Alive! Alright. I need more matte medium. I think that the problem I'm having with my wash is that it's too watery, and I don't think I have enough matte medium in it for the inks to adhere to bond to. I think, and this is my do your own fact finding. I think that the way that this works is that the pledge that we're using, the acrylic floor polish, I think that its job is to break the surface tension, and you need just a little bit of it, but it just helps break the surface tension of the water and helps it flow into the cracks better. And then the matte medium is what you allow the inks adhere to this. So this is basically paint without any pigment. So the pigments can bond to this. So when I have ink that's, it's this dark, but none of it's sticking to it's hardly sticking to the model, I think that the issue is that I need more medium. So that's what I'm trying to do. And put it in here. Again, let me get some gloves on. Oh man. Mustard banned somebody that wanted me to help me become famous. Well, I trust you, Mustard. I appreciate you looking out for us there, brother, actually. Thanks for the moderation. All mustard in moderation. Kablock. Alright, there we go. What you looking up at the moment, Randy?
I'm answering Mustard's questions about my mic / headphone / audio setup.
Oh, gotcha.
Tried several.
You can just Tell them. You don't have to type it.
Oh, yeah. I was sleepy.
No.
I didn't want to.
I thought maybe you were trying to document it or something, but yeah.
No. I think at first it was that I didn't want to talk over you.
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so...
You've been having game audio come out of the TV and a headphone connected to the phone?
When we're playing Rocket League, lately I've just been using my tablet, actually, with just no headset. That seems to have been working the best out of the different scenarios. Right now I'm using my phone with the earbud / mic that came with my PS4 controller. It seems to be the best in this case.
Alright, I need another paint dish here, I think. Let's grab this and see what we can see here. Here we go. I had a couple of stuff here. Let's... see here. Let's see what this looks like against white. All right. So the next step is to add more inks. Moss ink.
So what was the mix you're using for the wash that you're having some issues with?
Yep.
The ratios?
Acrylic floor gloss. I'm using Liquitex matte medium. I'm using inks. So let's see. Liquitex inks, and then water. And I thought it was a 10:5 ratio. I thought it was 1 part acrylic gloss to 5 parts matte medium to 10 parts water. All right. So I think at this point I'm going to just add some.
You have to play with it based on the different products. Different products could have different levels.
I'm using products like the acrylic floor gloss. That's the gloss that they say to use. I'm using the matte medium they say to use. So it could be that maybe I'm not diluting it enough with ink. Maybe I'm just not adding enough ink. Because right now it's looking like really gray. The wash is really, really gray. So it could be that I just put, colors in it that just now at this point it needs some punch. So I will add said punch. Hey, Mr. Mustard. Randy's birthday is at the end of the month, and I would be very interested in going together with you if you are going to actually buy him a headset. Sorry, Randy, to be talking about your birthday right here in front of you, but it's a weird and wacky time that we live in right now. That's funny. It's going to time you out so that you don't know what's going on. All right. All right. Let's see.
About time for a mental health minute.
Yeah. So we are working on our towers here, Randy. And I was thinking about mental health minutes. I wasn't going to make it about family because, I had to spend time with the family yesterday as my stepfather is having his foot fused. And so, spending time with family yesterday and thinking about the value of family and some of those things. The lack of value in family in certain cases. I'm very lucky. I count myself extremely lucky with family. I'm not talking about anybody. I don't think that's alive. Anyways, I was going to have it do that, but then we were working on towers, and so I started thinking about the towers that we build. Could be very much a good mental health minutes topic, and I think the thing that's been making me think about this is it's kind of like this idea, but like in philosophy, you're supposed to question everything, right? And you're supposed to be able to reshape your beliefs based on new evidence and things like that. But what happens is that people start building these theories, and then they've gotten so much built on top of it, right? You started with this idea, and you start building all of this thing. And you have yourself gets wrapped up in the image of whatever this idea is. And it becomes way too hard to change anything. You have too much stuff built on top of it. You can't change all these bricks down at the bottom easily. And so no matter how much you want to, there's going to be this bias to resisting that. And so I think that's what I was thinking about that, and also kind of thinking about it in this way of how we silo ourselves off from each other. And especially right now, we're very okay with hating people who hate. We're okay with hating hatred right now, and it's causing us to separate ourselves from people. And it's only when you're willing to. It's only when you meet something different do you ever really have the chance to grow or to learn or to be better, really. You don't do that by surrounding yourself with the same. You're never going to grow. You're never going to learn the things that you don't know. You're never going to escape your own ignorance if you just surround yourself constantly with the same. So that's another part of it. When I first mentioned it to you...
What is the thing about when you point your finger at somebody... Or you're pointing back at you or whatever.
Yeah, you got Thru pointing at you, pointing back at you. Yeah, that's a good one.
There is a thing right now about, it's good not to be complacent toward hatred, but there's a problem now with people jumping the gun and hating people that aren't really expressing hate.
Yeah. Yeah, and
there's a difference between an opinion and hate.
It's kind of like you can accuse somebody of being a pedophile, right? And whether that person was ever a pedophile or not, you don't get that stain off you. Their
career is done.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there
are people who are marked as pedophiles. They actually have to be on the registry and tell everybody in their neighborhood that they're pedophiles and stuff, when really they were drunk and had to pee in the park. And it was dark.
Yeah.
And it was nighttime. There was no kids around. They just had to pee and they were drunk and they peed in the bush. And
I know, Randy, you've told me this story again and again. We get it. You were just peeing in a bush.
I didn't get caught.
I don't get caught. Well played, sir. Well played. Yeah. So, it to me it feels like that sometimes. There's this right now. I don't know. It's that you can just accuse somebody of being an ist. Put whatever word you want in front of it, right? Genderist, a racist, a sexist, a heightist,
yeah, just people
elitist.
Automatically jump on the bandwagon without doing their own research and being like, hold on, let me check and see what they actually said and view the context and see if that's what they meant. They're just like, oh, how dare you? You're a horrible person. It's like, I didn't even mean what you're saying I said. That wasn't what I meant by that at all. You took it totally out of context, sort of thing.
whenever you adopt a by any means necessary philosophy, that's dangerous. And it's like, it's kind of, it feels like it's like that right now. But
so that to be a balance.
Yeah. So those were a couple of the aspects that I was thinking of when I was thinking about towers. You seem to think it'd be a good topic to talk about as well, and I'm wondering if you had similar thoughts
a cool
or
topic because like the towers you build, it's also about like you know what context are you speaking, because it can mean so many different things. I love that sort of thing anyway. To be like, okay, are you like Rapunzel in the tower? Are you imprisoning yourself in the tower? Did you allow someone else to put you here? Did you put yourself, this is the tower you built yourself and placed yourself in and you're stuck in it? Or is it about like putting somebody on a pedestal? Like there's so many different connotations.
Yeah, there's also like the ivory tower concept as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you've locked yourself up in your ivory tower and you can't see it because, man, see, I'm getting, well, there's something on this. I don't know. I might just not be happy with this. And
there's what we'll be saying, like, I can't remember what it is right now, but it's something about like, maybe it is ivory tower. Maybe you got to come down from your ivory tower, blah, 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 blah. Something along those lines, like you need to come down from whatever and interact with the real people or something, like come back to reality in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Back to life, back to the realities. All right, here we go.
It's easy to just sit back and say an opinion and be passionate about that, but not actually be involved in it in any way.
That's interesting.
And if you were actually involved in it, like hands-on in the situation, you might be saying something different than your ivory tower situation.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sometimes I'm interested when people are outraged on the behalf of other people. That sometimes that scares me, and I find that I doubt sometimes the motives, and that I doubt the credibility of somebody's ability to, it's like, you don't know, you're supposing, and
Yeah, you'll see that sometimes with like celebrity fans. People go overboard. Like somebody will say something to that fan, and somebody will think that they took it negatively, or even not. Even if they haven't seen what the response was, they're immediately like, "Oh, how dare you say that about them?" and just go off. And then to the extent of like sending that person death threats. And meanwhile, the celebrity's like, I didn't even see that comment, and I don't care. Like, that meant nothing to me, and you're going off on this tangent, and this person death threats, and it didn't bother me one bit.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point. All right, here. I'm getting a little bit of some here.
And again, we're not talking. I'm not talking about anything in particular. I don't think you are either. Are you really?
No, I wasn't. I think I was kind of like you. It's like, I think that there is a topic to be mined. This is a topic to be mined. So yeah, just some of the like my initial thoughts about it had to do with one, this idea that I've been hearing this as I'm watching some Joe Rogan stuff, and some of these things he gets criticized for people that he has on, but I'm impressed that what he says, and what I think is true, is that he's just trying to have conversations and saying that you can't. There's this Tom Lehrer quote. That's the guy that made the song for the Chemical Elements, right? And he had this thing about right now there is a problem with people who hate other people, and I can't stand people like that, and there's an irony that is being lost.
Most people don't realize. To me, I've always been like that. Like I've always, I hate haters, and I fully realize the extension of that statement. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Does that not make me one of them? Does that make me a hater? And so I hate. So and then you re-examine the situation.
Well,
so you got to look deeper into it and be like, all right, let me clarify this a bit more. What?
This is one thing that I've seen amongst the very different strains of Christianity that I've experienced. That you different ones have kind of different ways that they handle their view towards sinners, right? I mean, the idea is that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, and that even though that Christ comes and saves you, that you're always still a sinner. And it's like you're an alcoholic, right? When you're an alcoholic, you're a reformed alcoholic, but you're still an alcoholic, right? You are still born into the condition of original sin. You are never not going to be a sinner. And how different religions handle, or Christianity strains handle that is interesting. And some of them are, really do embrace, I think, the concept of hate the sin, love the sinner. And that concept, I think, could actually, even though I don't endorse, organized religions, that tenet, I think, is lost on some people who think that their actions are altruistic, if you will. So I don't know. I think that's maybe all I have to say about that. I may not be a smart man, but I know what irony is, Jenny. All right. So, all right. And thanks again, everybody.
I like the metaphor, though, of being in the tower. And I mean, there's a lot to mine from that metaphor, the different connotations thereof. So I'm sure that we'll be coming back to that, using that metaphor for different things.
Yeah, I think that it was interesting too. Like, so what do you think the story of Rapunzel? What to you interests you about the story of Rapunzel? It's not what is it? Its true intent, but to you, do you think that the story of Rapunzel is about somebody that is hiding themselves away? Is it the story about a burgeoning young woman's sensuality? Is it just classic? Is it just classic man-saving woman?
I'm sure I've heard of what it may supposed to have actually meant, been referencing at some point, but if so, I've forgotten. The basic just fairy tale that we heard growing up was just about a young woman in a tower, trapped by a witch, trapped by a witch, I believe was the distinction, and saved by a man, whether that be I don't think he was necessarily a prince. I don't recall it having much connotation beyond that, just that she was trapped in the tower by the witch, and that
I guess maybe
it was a love story. It was love at first sight sort of thing, and then
I guess
cleverness and how they got around the situation.
Yeah.
So how do you what kind of metaphors can you draw from it? Is that what you're looking for?
Well, it seems to me that, like, a lot of times when they talk about these things, like urban legends in particular, like, you remember the early seasons of Mythbusters, when they would talk about urban legends that they were going to dispel, they would have, like, the urbanologist woman, right? And she would talk about kind of the origin of this and why we think that this urban legend prevails. And, like, a lot of times it's like, the urban legend of the couple that's on Lover's Lane, and they end up where there's the hook on the bumper, right? Because they get home and there's the hook from the one-man hand that's on the bumper, right? And it's like, this is a story about the dangers of promiscuity at its heart, right? And this is why this story prevails, is because of this. And I'm assuming that the story of Rapunzel, that there at least have been more than a couple people who have asserted what its staying power is and what it speaks to within our psyche, I guess. So maybe I think that's kind of the angle that I'm trying to come at, if that makes sense.
I think some of that part, it's important to appreciate that as an opinion, but not accept it as a fact per se. Like, don't take it for granted that it's a fact. Like, this is why this thing is. This is why this has prevailed. But as, oh, okay, well, this could be why.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm wondering what. I'm not asking you what you think the author's intent is. I'm asking you to speculate on behalf of humanity. What you think? Because it's like I said, just like first off, it's like, is this about, a young woman repressing herself, and then being freed, or is this about the way that we all trap ourselves and that we have this ability within ourselves to help free ourselves, but it means that we have to reach out to somebody to do so, but it's the power is within you.
Yeah, a lot of these things we're actually talking about, like a lot of these fairy tales, what their actual meaning was talking about was like
politics,
mortality, or references to the plague, and
politics, right? Yeah, sometimes that's just
but yeah, a lot of times it was things that kids would die from, infant mortality and stuff like that. As for Rapunzel, I don't think that you can say that she put herself in the tower, because she was, a big part of it was that she was trapped in the tower against her will.
Yep. Following you on that.
Being held prisoner by another.
Yep.
In the new movie, the Disney one, I think at some point she turns tails on, because originally it would have been, she comes and she's rescued by the guy, and that was a huge theme. Was the female was always in trouble, and
damsel in distress.
Always trying to save the day. Yeah. And then lately we've been trying to turn that on its head, and I'm not sure the right words I want to use here, but I think in the new,
Nah, nothing. I just spilled all over myself.
Uh-oh. In the new Rapunzel movie, that she ends up kind of turning the tails on the guy a bit, and I think ends up saving him in a way.
I just ink washed myself. Yeah.
So,
that would make sense.
I think does she actually free her? Does she actually climb down herself or something? I can't remember.
What she probably does is she probably chops off her hair, right? Like burning her bra.
I don't remember.
And then she uses that as a rope and lets herself down. Because it's her hair, she lets herself down. She doesn't need.
Is it like the what's the name of the cartoon?
Does it end up going bad for the guy who rescues her? And maybe it's cautionary tale of.
Say what?
Maybe it's a cautionary tale of love. What's the true outcome of the guy who saves Rapunzel?
Okay, well, see, again, we're running into like
what's the story? Yeah, what is the story?
What's Grimm's version?
Yeah.
Did they change it from whatever it was originally drawn from?
Yeah.
And how did Disney change it from Grimm's version?
Yeah.
That's a big distinction. That can turn the tables entirely. Sorry, what was your immediate question here? The last thing you said.
What is what do we think is a commonly regarded telling of Rapunzel, including old, not Disney version? What is before Disney? What was the commonly regarded version of?
Okay.
Of Rapunzel.
The only thing that I recall, like I said, was that it was the woman was trapped in a tower by a witch, and a man came and saved her. He would visit her. She'd let down her hair, and he would climb the hair. Actually, there's some other possible connotations with that. From if you look at the musical Into the Woods, they reference all these different fairy tales, but they all have kind of tragic twists to them.
Uh-huh.
So in that case, I think they're caught, and I think the witch may actually chop off her hair and pretend to be her. I can't remember if that's in the original fairy tale or not.
Wow.
God. And ensnare the man that's trying to save her. In this case, it was a prince. And then he ends up like, he or she, I can't remember which, ends up being sent into like a briar patch and becoming blinded. And it's a whole thing about like promiscuity potentiality with him coming up and visiting her. There's a lot of possibilities
Okay.
that you can read into the situation.
Okay. So
like she was just trying to keep her safe. Like the in this case, the witch was her mother, and she was just trying to keep her safe because she had suffered at the hands of humanity, and she wanted to protect her daughter from that. But she was protecting her so much that she was keeping her from living life. And she's, you know, a teenager, young adult, whatever, and wanted to experience life. So
yep.
There was a major clash there. And so she was trying to do everything to get away from that. She hated her mother and everything. Meanwhile, her mom just was trying to protect her and do the best. She thought she was doing the best that she could to keep her from having to feel these injuries.
I was watching, you know, they have those master class. You've seen it advertised on the YouTubes, I'm sure, or someplace, right?
What is it?
The master class video series.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so I was watching some of the Neil Gaiman one, and he was talking about surprises, and you know, as a interesting idea, he's like, you know, take a story that you've heard and look at it from a different direction. And he's talking about like with fairy tales, and he says, you know, take a story like Sleeping Beauty, and so he's like, so you know, you have this guy who comes upon this woman who's dead, and he kisses her. Well, that sounds like necrophilia. and then she comes back to life.
She's not dead though.
Well, and so, but he was talking about this, and so it was like, you know, so what you had was kind of this like vampiric tale, you know. If you looked at it a different way, it lent itself to being this almost vampiric undead tale, and so it was fun, you know, and I've seen a lot of, you know, that done over and over, but it is a fun exercise, and for certain. I'm trying to figure out here with our tower, which I am finally starting to get a little bit happier with our washes on. I need to let it dry and I think do some paints, but I don't know if I want to blow dry that or if I want to go ahead and maybe start on our wall pieces instead and let this dry. I probably should let it dry.
This sounds a bit like a version that I haven't heard, which is sort of tied into Into the Woods stories, but with different characters involved. This is a hodgepodge. This is what is this from? Pedia.com, Pedia.com. What is the moral of Rapunzel?
The moral of the story.
Yeah.
How could the whole conversation and I walk around? What's the moral of the story? Sorry, go ahead.
A pregnant woman who is craving for an herb called Rapunzel sends her husband to a witch's garden to pick up the herb. The witch catches the husband stealing from her garden and makes an exchange with him. She tells him that he can take some herbs, but they must give her the baby when it's born.
Well, okay.
The husband reluctantly agrees. When the baby is born, the witch takes her away and names her Rapunzel. When the girl becomes older, the witch locks her in a tower. The tower only has a window and no doors. The only way to enter the tower is by having Rapunzel throw her hair down, throw down her long hair, so that the witch can climb it. One day, a prince comes by the tower and sees the witch climbing into the tower. After the witch leaves, the prince imitates the witch and calls out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your long hair." Rapunzel lowers her hair and he climbs. The prince and Rapunzel fall in love and decide to get married. The prince hatches a plan to free Rapunzel from the tower, but the witch gets to know about the prince. Language. The angry witch cuts off Rapunzel's hair and banishes her from the tower. Then she ties the hair up and waits for the prince. When he is climbing up the tower, she drops the hair and the prince is blinded by the fall. Okay, so actually this is pretty in line with Into the Woods. The blind prince roams the land in search of Rapunzel for years. Eventually, he finds Rapunzel, and her tears magically cure him of his blindness. The prince returns to his kingdom with Rapunzel to live happily ever after. The moral of Rapunzel. This tale teaches many lessons to children. The consequences of stealing. Huh. Okay. The value of patience and determination. Okay. Are some of
Randy, I don't feel like you're in full agreement with these morals.
Yeah, that seems like it is because of Rapunzel's parents' actions that Rapunzel is taken away by the witch. Oh, okay, yeah. I keep forgetting about the beginning of the story. I keep thinking just about Rapunzel in the tower. Gotcha. Yet at the end of the story, it is the young lovers' patience and determination to find each other that unite them. Therefore, the moral of the story can be described as follows. When something is destined to happen, then no one, by any of their powers, can stop that from happening. We should never give up on our hopes, no matter how bad or hard the situation.
Love.
However,
True love.
However, this tale could also have a different interpretation for adults. It serves as a caution for adults that children grow up no matter how hard the parents try to shield them from the harsh realities of life. Okay. This is very in step with Into the Woods version.
Cool.
Which, you're not big into musicals, right? But I think you would like the twists and turns within Into the Woods.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not a
quite a bit of humor in it.
I'm not a full-on hater or anything of musicals. But
Bernadette Peters does plays the witch in the version I'm familiar with. They did a movie of it, which actually has Chris Pine and but I don't know if it has. I can't remember if it has Bernadette Peters as the witch in it or not. I don't remember. It's not. It's got a lot of people in the movie. What you working on now, bub?
So I pulled out those. I went ahead and put our stuff over to dry, and pulled out these Dungeon and Laser set that we got, which was Dungeon and Lasers made by Archon Studio. So this was a Kickstarter that I had backed for some walls, and they've got these system here. I don't know if we really looked at this, Brittany. This is kind of the slot system that they use. So you've got these tabs that will slide in, that lock into here, and then you can put two pieces together because of that. See what I'm saying? I want to leave these on the sprues, that's why I'm not. Mm-hmm. And then you have a half one if you put a wall in. So instead of it linking the two, it would just allow a place for you to put the wall in, so it slot in. So I want to work on these. So I put primer on them already, and this is just kind of while I was using the airbrush to put some metal tones onto.
So some of the stars in Into the Woods movie is Meryl Streep, Emily Blunt, James Corden, Anna Kendrick, Chris Pine, Tracy Ullman, Christine Baranski, Johnny Depp. Those are a few of them.
Yeah, well, it's like, I guess if you could get some star power, maybe more people would know about it. Speaking
of
the
Broadway version,
can I speak super briefly about Anna Kendrick?
Yeah,
she has an amazing Twitter. I mean, I haven't looked at it for a long time. I haven't looked at her Twitter in a long time, but she's super funny. She's really, 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 really funny, and it's funny. She was one of these people that I didn't think I was gonna like. I ended up watching. There was a movie with her and Jake Gyllenhaal, where Jake Gyllenhaal is like a cop and she's his like love interest. And I think that's when I first became aware of her. But she's in that, the movie, I think she's pretty well known for being in the movie Pitch Perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she does the cup song, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the lyrics of that song is that you're going to miss me by my hair. You're going to miss me everywhere. Correct?
I don't know the lyrics to it.
All right. Well, this is my issue. I don't. We'll get a confirmation here from the Randytron.
Yeah, cups, pitch perfects when I'm gone. I got my ticket for the long way round. 2-bottle whiskey for the way. And I sure would like some sweet company. And I'm leaving tomorrow. What do you say? When I'm gone, you're going to miss me when I'm gone. You're going to miss me by my hair. You're going to miss me everywhere. Oh, you're going to miss me when I'm gone.
Okay, that's all I needed.
Got my ticket.
No, we could stop there. So yeah, what the hell does it mean? You're going to miss me by my hair?
Hair. I was gonna say it rhymes, but I'm like, I think just.
Well, it rhymes with everywhere.
Everywhere. It rhymes with everywhere.
It's like it feels like it's a word that's just in there because it rhymes with everywhere. You know, or although when you're talking about some of the other lyrics, it seems like this is an old song, and I'm wondering if it's like, you know, if missing it by a hair was like, you know, by missing it by a thread. So you're gonna miss me by my hair. You're gonna miss me just by a little bit, but you're gonna also miss me everywhere.
Yeah, I just missed them by a hair means I just missed them.
Right.
I almost was there at the same, but they left right before I got there. But this says miss me by my hair.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I tried.
What, you think it's a?
I think it's stupid.
I
think it's no. I just think it's stupid. You're gonna miss me by my hair. It's just like Am I gonna miss your hair?
Because her hairs are strewn about the place. So.
Well, it's like
yeah. By my hair, you're gonna miss me everywhere.
You're going to miss me by my hair. My hair is going to make you miss me because my hair is in your pillows and your clothes, and because she sheds like a dog. Yeah. So you're going to miss me by my hair. And because my hair is everywhere, you're going to miss me everywhere. All right. It works for me now. I can move on. Thank you. That's like when Carrie taught me that there's a song that annoys you, just sing it in chicken voice and it solves it. Totally works. Totally works. All right, so I'm going to want to put down some colors, which I know is a word that I don't say correctly. You can correct me, and feel free to correct me in the comments.
It says, you're going to miss me when I'm gone. You're going to miss me by my walk. You're going to miss me by my talk. Though you're going to miss me when I'm gone.
By my walk, by my talk, by my hair. I guess it's by the way my hair looks. You're going to miss me by my hair. Yeah, it's a really catchy tune, and it's a fun sequence. You know, I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen the sequence, and it's fun. But it's like it's a catchy tune. It gets stuck in your head, and it's like, what does that mean? You're gonna miss me by my hair. What?
End of Watch is.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was it. All right. I want to put down. So this has already got like kind of like a heavy gray primer on it. So I think I need to put some striations in this. So usually I do something like a blue and a green, or a purple and a green, or something like that. A red and a green, something. Always a green, apparently. On here, so I think that's what I'm gonna do here for the stone and for the walls, and then the stone on some of these doors as well. But then a couple of these doors are metal and or biomechanic, so those we'll do separately. But so we'll leave those to their own devices. And in fact, maybe we'll break sprue there. Oh yeah, here, Randy, you can see one of those connectors I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then the middle is so then there's some of them that look like.
How does that piece work again?
There's some of them that's like this. So on the underside, here, let me see if I can.
Yeah. Oh, I understand. Yep.
It just kind of rubber bands it together in a way.
Mm-hmm. So they clip though.
So yeah,
click end.
Yeah.
Steady. It's not just a loose
No, and then it should.
positioning.
I haven't tried it yet, but
yeah, cool.
And then there's some for the walls that are just half of that, and so that the walls will stick into, or a door, piece sticks into that little thing there. Let me see if I can switch that camera. So you have so here's that little notch, and then you can see the door has a notch on the bottom that will slot in that hole. So, but like I said, I just don't want to take these off the sprues yet because I think they'll be easier to paint. And the sprue points are at parts where I don't think they're going to be too bad.
That looks like there's a cross pattern then for positioning. If it was just rounded, I was wondering if you could rotate the door piece for that wall piece to be like a secret door.
Oh, it's got a cross. Yeah, it's got a cross piece. Mm-hmm. So if you look at that,
so it would spin.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you could just clip it and drill it and put a pin, like a pin in it. Yeah, if you wanted a sliding wall or something. Yeah, that'd be fun. But yeah, these first, and then they're really thin too, so you get a lot of detail, but they're really thin. So, I mean, you could stack a ton of these once I got them painted. But yeah, and since they lock though, I think I'm going to just try to put together a couple of default rooms. Especially these ones, I think I'm most excited about doing the alien one. Here's that door. Here's a door again.
That's.
There you go.
For some reason, I feel uneasy when I see
that. Yeah. I hear you. Yep. So, well, here. This you'll like this one better. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. If you want to get in, you gotta rub the top of the door. Yeah. Here's a little magic portal for you, Rainy, to make you feel better.
I do like that. Yeah, that's the one I was like, yeah, if you cut that piece out and then replace it with some fabric, and like you could still maintain those folds in it by using starch or whatever, and then put some lights behind it, that'd be sweet.
I have been watching. There's a really fun.
Or you cut it out and then you put your phone behind it with an actual animation. There you go.
Yeah, I've seen people do that. That's really cool. Make these portals. I'd want it bigger though if I was going to do that, so I could get more of my phone to show. There's a really good YouTuber craft guy. His name's the Craftsman. Speaks like with Cajun accent. And he's a sock puppet. I have an affinity to sock puppets. So, yeah, I think it's really funny. Today on a Craftsman. But he's been a couple ones that I've been watching. Yeah, it reminds me of the Cajun cook. What was his name?
Cajun chef.
Justin Wilson. Justin Wilson, I believe his name was.
Right.
I guarantee. Ooh-wee. We're gonna put a little wine in here. We're gonna add a little bit more wine. We're gonna add a little bit more wine. He was fun to watch. Justin Wilson,
like Colonel Sanders-esque.
Yeah.
The blue shirt with the red suspenders, and I don't know what that necktie situation is called with the tails.
Yeah, where he foghorn leghorn sort of scenario. I remember him telling a story once. He says, I send my girl to college, and she come back, and I say, so girl, why don't you tell me something that you learn in college? And she said, well, I'll be taking math classes. He said, okay, tell me about the math classes. She said, well, we learn different things. And what do you learn? He said, well, we learn things like, like pi or square. I said, girl, I spent all that money. Pi are round, cornbread are square. True story. All right. Cornbread are square. All right. So.
It depends what you cook them in, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pan. Yeah, you can make it be whatever you want. I'm sorry, sir, but the logic will not allow me to enjoy the joviality of your anecdotal whatever. Hoo-ha. I finished with hoo-ha. I have no time for your hoo-ha, sir. I'm sorry, what? Your hoo-ha? I have no time for your unmitigated hoo-ha. Randy might put up with that kind of stuff, but not me. All right. Let me get some paints here.
Dude, man, they're making this way too difficult to know the actual show or the actual name of the show.
Let's just use maybe some of these. How are you on for time today, my friend?
Second youngest. I'm okay. He was the second youngest of 7 children. His father was...
Of how many? Did you say second youngest of 12? Of 7. Oh, 7.
7.
7.
Although, I got something about lots of children to tell you about, man. Youngest is 7 children, Harry D. Wilson, the Louisiana Commissioner of Agriculture. Agriculture and Forestry. And a former member of the Louisiana House of Representatives. Of Welsh descent.
You don't hear a lot about the Welshes.
His mother was of French descent. She taught him how to cook. She was a master of improvisation of meals. Also a pianist and composer of instrumental music. Well into her 90s. Anyway.
Keep talking, Randy. I gotta step out for a sec. I'll be right back in 2 minutes.
His catchphrase, I guarantee.
He was, he did some commercials. I can't remember what commercials that he did, where he would say, I guarantee. Short-lived.
As a comedian, enormously popular in Louisiana, lesser degree neighboring states. Humor may have been a little too specifically regional to enjoy for a wider popularity. Composed 10 songs, as well as composing background music for his cooking show. Recorded 1 album of Christmas songs with a jazz band. What? Wrote 7 Cajun cookbooks and 2 Cajun stories. Hosted several cooking shows on PBS. And at least one for Mississippi Educational Television that combined Cajun cooking and humor.
He was a true player for real, man.
Yeah, man.
He's like, he almost had like a Forrest Gump life. Makes me feel bad about what I've done in my own life.
He was married 4 times. Well, all that, and it still didn't list the actual name of his show. Okay.
Because it said, well, it said he had a couple.
Wikipedia about him.
It said he had a couple on PBS.
Yeah, but it didn't name them. Weird.
Okay, so that's what I want. How about epic rap battle between the Cajun cook and the Swedish chef?
Nice.
That'd be good.
What? How would this? Oh my God.
Have you ever?
The Swedish chef would be like, can't rap.
No, okay. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't.
Come on.
There is. Look up, and if you would post this, look up the Swedish Chef does Rapper's Delight. Because when they redid
the Swedish Chef is probably really offensive to Swedish people.
Oh, probably, yeah. Apologies to the Swedes. They're some of the best people, the Swedes, actually, in my opinion. Let me see here. I need to get a brush. This work.
Look up what? Swedish Chef?
Swedish Chef, Rapper Delight, karaoke. Or rapping karaoke. Because here, I don't know, it was like a couple years ago they came out with a Muppet show that was kind of done in the style of like, you know, today's day and age where it's that kind of documentary style, like The Office, the mockumentary style. And so they all went out after work, and they had the Swedish chef, and he was doing karaoke, and so he's doing the hip, the hop, the hip, the hip, the hip, hoop, and it is so amazing. It's really good. So if you could find that and
get a preview version.
Yeah, that's a thing. It's a thing we're seeing.
There you go.
Thank you. Do yourself a favor if you need a little chuckle. If you know what both of those things are, then treat yourself. Good stuff. I think I also have a conspiracy theory for the Muppet Show, that new Muppet Show. They had these commercials that came out, and they had a character that was like, I think, Kermit's love interest, and she looked a lot like a character from Game of Thrones, and I think so much that they might have actually modified her in later episodes. But you can do your own fact finding.
They modified, what was that now?
It seemed like that they modified one of the Muppets, one of the characters, because to me she looked a lot like this one actress, and then it seemed like in later episodes she didn't look so much like her. And but like, this could be my mind playing tricks. All right, so we're putting just some random striations here of green. I'll do some more that are just little blue as well, and then some that's just going to leave in here, just kind of like almost like a tiger stripe kind of pattern. Think about whatever that is, and it doesn't matter if it actually is what a tiger stripe pattern is. It's just a source of inspiration to try to free you to be able to paint with some randomness. That's so much of this will get covered over with the dry brushing and the washes that it won't matter. You'll want it to be really stark and look bad. We make things look bad before we make them look good. It's one of the rules of Q Club. All right.
When do you want to do the walkthrough for Patreon?
Yeah, let me see. We've got 15 minutes here. We might look to do that next time. Because I thought it's like either if I'm going to do that walkthrough or I'm going to start to paint these. So I felt like I would be abandoning the audience if I just like, hey, let's just go take a look at Patreon.
All right, well, I'm tired of waiting, so...
Okay. Oh, is this like a birthday thing that I'm screwing up? Is that a yes?
What? What are you talking about?
Okay. Well, if you're tired of waiting.
Oh no, what have I done?
I don't know, but
Right. I guess I have to redo it and see.
I'm excited.
How do you undo?
So yeah, I'm just gonna keep going here while Randy's got this pregnant pause, and we will continue with our green striation pattern. And I can finish this quickly too, Randy, if you need me to.
Of course, my computer's giving me issues. Huh.
right.
That's weird.
And we'll take this time to thank everybody who's given us your eyeballs and your ear holes today. We sure do appreciate y'all. If you hate hitting them buttons that matter, please consider doing so. But we see all of these names back time and time and again. We appreciate you. Feel free to holler in the chat. All right, here. I got a $1 tip. Thanks for being you, yo. Aw. No, you know what? I think that means I got to dance, don't I? I got a donation. I got to dance. Hold on one second.
I think that was the agreement.
That is the agreement, is that we drag and twerk for donations. So let me get over here.
So I had it. Heads up, I had it. I was trying to put in the GIF and something else, theme or something, and apparently those are pro options, and you have to pay for like Prime Pro or something, or Patreon Pro. So it's like $5.99 or something.
Oh.
But I just backed out and then redid it, and it automatically took that stuff off. So.
All right. So let's see here. Let me focus my sheet. Getting a character. Summon my inner dragon. All right, Randy, you gotta give me some music. Gotta drop it like it's on.
Brown ticker burger.
All right, that's what you get for $1. That's worth the price of admission. Thank you so much for the tip, my friend.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being you, bro. So for a $5 tip, do you actually wear that with a G-string?
I don't know. I mean, we've given some. Tater has Mr. Mustard has previously given us a couple of $10 tips, and so we've tried to.
Nice.
We tried to. And so that tip actually came through Patreon. Because we also have.
That was just a tip through Twitch.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because you were talking about something.
Computer issues.
I got you.
Try this again. Hope I don't.
All right. Let's get some blues. Oops, we gotta. Check to make sure as we look at our topics for today.
Nice clip.
What is that, Randy? Oh, I got it. I know what it is. Well done, sir. That's nice because then I'll have that automatically in our clips. So we're movie night. Talk about.
There we go.
Thanks. I don't know if it shows on yours. On mine, it shows a little zombie running when it makes that sound. And
oh, there it does. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter. That means a ton.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate that so much, and it is something that we're actively working on. Is trying to figure out how to use our Discord as Patreon rewards. So it's not scripted out very well in our current configuration, but it's that's will be, I think, a lot of the a good source of added bonus value add for those who support us on Patreon is access to things through the Discord. If that makes sense. So we are currently working on improving our Patreon. Get you more value for your... Because we are starting to build a little active community over there. All right, here. All right. Just a little variation of colors here. Some is blue. It's not as blue as I thought it was going to be because of all the green I have on my brush, but that doesn't matter. I'm not trying to make it be a certain thing. I'm just trying to nudge it. Give it some nudgy nudges. All right. So that's, I got to get the back sides. Most of these pieces, they only are one-sided, except for there's a wall piece of these. So, and then the metal bars here, I might go ahead and paint those up metal. And Randy, what time will we be bidding you adieu today?
I should go around 2. I
Okay.
can stay a bit later if you need me to.
Yeah, okay. We got about 8 minutes here, so just take this opportunity to thank everybody who's hopped on and gives you time and your attention. You could do, if you want to be cool like Randy, you can do like him and follow us on Patreon. Randy, could you give me a... If you do... I don't think it works. If I don't know why. If you do asterisk, or not asterisk, but exclamation point Patreon, I don't think it pulls up our Patreon information. I'll have to add that. I thought that I'd added socials to it, but maybe I didn't. Huh. Well. We'll have to look into that.
Like
but
the,
it is showed in our links down below in Twitch. So, and it should also be contained into the description of YouTube. And remember to follow us on the Instagram. We post daily on Instagram. You can get a real good feel about what we do, what we're about by checking out the Instagram. We're also have been creating some edited video content that's recapping our D&D sessions. We actually have a video of that up, and I can copy and paste that into the chat. We're just pasting all kinds of crap into the chat.
I wonder what time it is.
Oh yeah. Let me see here. I will look into our notes for today. I believe it is D&D recap. Oh, alright, there's that. Yeah, like I say, we post on the Instagrams, and we do this every weekday, and then I also try to hop on similar times on the weekends. On Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we got music, and we can play clips and stuff and not worry. But on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Randy joins us via the Discord, and we beam this also to Twitch and to the YouTubes, and so we have to be mindful of a little more mindful because of that. But okay, here we go.
Are we good for D&D tomorrow night?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We didn't even really talk about that. That'll be our subject, I guess, probably for tomorrow. But yeah, so I'm kind of scared, to be honest with you. That should have been probably the mental health minute, because we're doing a non-miniature board. I know how to do a miniature board, so I haven't really done what we're going to try to do. But I feel like I've given myself enough resources to be able to do it and not overburden myself with too many resources, which is what I would normally do, or potentially, could do. So, I have a.
So
I do have a.
Spoiling anything by?
No, I don't plan on spoiling anything that I'll share.
Well, I mean, no. I mean, so like, are you going to do like a pen and paper situation, or a mat and a marker board, or just total verbal, or what's your idea there?
Well, I think that it's probably going to be. It's largely going to be theater of the mind. Largely, with a few visuals perhaps added in. Like I do have a map of the city, so if that's useful, I can share the map, and we'll see how it goes. That's probably going to be part of my prep for tomorrow. I think that I'm at a spot to where I can probably collect some photos of like maybe some places that may come up, or maybe some NPCs that come up. You know what I mean? But I'm not looking really to do anything. It's not going to be really. I'm not looking to do like a virtual tabletop sort of thing with what is it, Roll20, because I think it's just going to be too much to introduce to our players. I mean, especially seeing some of the challenges we've had just successfully using the chat bot to do our rolls. I want to keep it low, so. I might do a couple of things, but it's not going to be like an inch on this map is an inch on here. It may even be like an isometric map, or just some different things like that. So I don't know. I was also thinking about maybe I can use some Photoshop, like pull up a map, and then in Photoshop, and then use like the layers, and I could indicate, well, it is kind of rare. It's like, well, you're kind of here, and this is kind of where the monsters are, some things like that. So. But I don't know. I can't do that because I don't know exactly where you guys are going, what you're doing. It's kind of hard for me to.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it's just like basic stuff, like you're in a town, you're going to go about your business, about like if you need something crafted, or want to buy some potions, or sell some stuff, or talk to the person in the inn, or whatever. That's all. I mean, you don't need to have that all spelled out necessarily.
Yeah.
It's only like if you're going to a certain spot that is going to involve like dungeon type stuff, where you have to try to go to this room over here, avoid this trap right there, then that would maybe, I don't want to say require, but be aided by at least a pen paper situation.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine, just bring your imagination, Shadow. I imagine that that it's likely that you guys will roll attack dice. I think at some point it'll be likely that encounter that happens, but we don't need to. It's only if we're going to get really heavy in the technical fighting stuff, like how close are you to somebody and things like that, and that's where it's just like I don't know exactly what I'm going to need, so some of that's we're just going to wing it along the way, but yeah, I think we'll be all right. But that doesn't remove trepidation, necessarily.
Yeah, the only possible things to consider would be in those situations for a fight would be, who's in melee range, who's in range.
Yeah.
If that,
and I saw,
situation.
Yeah, there's some Sly Flourish, which I don't remember if that's the Lazy DM or not, but I was reading an article by Sly Flourish, and they were talking about how they run D&D during this remotely, and they said that they've largely just been using Discord, and he said, but he did show, like, if I had a room, like I might have 3 sections of the room, and this is how I kind of list it, so I can kind of keep track of it, and so that might be something that we share as well, just to kind of, this is let you know how many people are in the room, what sections you're in the room, or something like that. So I don't know, we'll figure it out. I'm not gonna try to overthink it too much, and I was trying
to think of like different ways that you could pass information between a particular player and the DM. So like if something happens, like say somebody is becomes possessed.
Oh, I can direct that mention somebody in Discord. So yeah, I've already thought about that. That if there's information that somebody needs to know, that just they need to know, then I actually have that ability to do, which is fun.
keep in mind, you may, I don't know if you've done anything along those lines yet or not, but me being the bard, and just naturally, bard does this anyway, pretty much, I think, but especially since I'm gnome and bard and entertainer, and it plays as one of my quirks, is that when I go to a town, I make sure to gather all the gossip and try to get information.
And that's definitely. I mean, this is what I'm assuming. You guys are going to a town for a reason. There'll be things that you'll need to accomplish goals that you guys have, whatever those goals need to be. And then in every town, there's going to be, a kind of part and parcel of D&D, right? Is rumors, right? What's the rumor? Cities are great for rumors. Like, what's the rumors? What's the word? What's the news? What's going on here? So I don't think that's part and parcel of what I'm considering important in town building is those elements. It's a basic understanding of what the size of the place, kind of the rough makeup of it. What is the main purpose of it? The city in and of itself, like what is the city known for? What is its primary export or whatever, that kind of thing. And why is this city important in the context of our story in particular? And what are some of the key shops? That one that I was talking about, I think it's Monarch Butterfly or something like that we were mentioning. And she was talking about like what she does for city bidding was this thing that she learned from, I think, a poli-sci class, where you think of sperm, and it was social, political, economic, religious, and military. And you think about what are the seats of those for your city and who represents those, perhaps in an NPC sort of scenario. And that helps you a lot. So just thinking about, what common shops would be or not be in this town, some NPCs. So those are the pieces that we have right now. So I think that, cool. just that I think would be enough for us to have a thing. And, again, it's like, I'm not trying to box you guys in. So, I'm curious to see what's going to happen and where it goes from here. Cause I don't really know what the party wants to do at this point. So it's really kind of interesting. So, and it isn't like there's,
it should be fun regardless.
Yeah. And it isn't like there's one particular goal. So, all right, cool. All right, well, so I went ahead and I added some of this corrosive paint very heavily, and it's this one of these technical paints from Citadel. So this will actually add some grime and grit to it as well. That's kind of giving it this rusty look, and so this will be, I think, work as a good base, because then washes and dry brushing will be facilitated by this. And I don't know if you can even see here, maybe this is what it looks like where it's dried. But it's got texture to it.
Oh, nice.
So it's one of the few of the Citadel paints that I like. Some of the technicals, I really enjoy their blood paint. I think that's a nice one. Blood for the blood god. And like their rust. It's a really dry paint, and so when you're going to dry brush, you don't have to spend as much time taking out the moisture. More pigment, less medium, I guess. And then I also got some moot green. I think that's kind of a good vomity kind of color. Yeah, so those are kind of. But anyways, so I think.
Do you ever get around to using that and be like, oh, I think I'll use this, and then be like, it's kind of moot.
I would like to answer your question, Randy, but the point is rather moot green. There was. I'm a fan of 80s pop music, and one of my favorite 80s pop singer is Rick Springfield, most famously known for Jesse's Girl. And I think it is that song, Jesse's Girl, he says, but the point is rather moot. And I didn't know what that was. And I kept thinking that I thought he was saying that the point was brother brute or something like that. And the point was about her brute of a brother. Because I didn't know what the point is rather moot. I did not have any clue what that meant. But anyways.
Yeah. That is Rick Springfield, Rick Springfield, Jesse's girl. I want to tell her that I love her, but the point is probably moot.
It's probably mute. Yeah, but the point is probably moot. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. One of those misheard lyrics. There was something else in context of that. Oh yeah, with Rick Springfield, he had a song. I've done everything for you. You've done nothing for me. Which I almost always love songs that have a part of the titles in parentheses. Keep feeling fascination is one of those. Look that up. But his song, I've done everything for you, you've done nothing for me. That is an amazing song to play if you quit a job. You'll never, because that's about a marital relationship, I think, or, love relationship. But man, it feels really good as an anthem if you're walking out a job that you quit. I've done everything for you. You've done nothing for me. But anyway, that's all the hate that we're going to allow for ourselves. We try to focus on creation, not hateation here. So, Randy, I know you've got stuff to do. It's 8 after 2. We appreciate everybody that stuck around with us for this long on our slow descent back into our home. That's right, unless you got a great critique. And we'll go from there. And yep, I will be doing some more crafting tomorrow and probably a little bit of D&D prep. And Randy, thanks so much for the donation and for the Patreon support, man. Brother, I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I'm digging your deconstructed face here from your headshots on the extras for
thanks,
being a
man.
Patreon member.
Yeah,
I like the bow truckle looking. The first one that's listed looks like a kind of a geriatric miserly bow truckle.
I'm not sure I know what a bow truckle is.
Well, in Harry Potter, because bow truckle is like the little stick.
Oh, is that in the
in bow truckle or
is that the creature that the guy has that Salamander has? And
yep.
Fantastic Beasts, is that a bow truckle? Yeah. If people want to know what that is, they can take a look at the Patreon, and we've put some stuff on there as I've, we do a lot of stuff necessarily art related, and so we share some of that there. Some sketches that I do on the phone, some music tracks that we make, little clips of some video outtakes or something like that. So we'll be adding more and more to that as well. But Randy, do you have anything else that you want to share with the good people before we rise up and depart?
Red Cross.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting major alerts for requests for blood right now. They're really low levels, and hospitals are getting. A lot of places are having their major slam with COVID. Plus, at the same time, they had been holding off on a lot of surgeries and had gotten to the point when places were starting to reopen that they were like, okay, now it's time to finally do these surgeries that we've been holding off on. So there was already an increase for need for blood.
Right.
Due to that. Mm-hmm. And then the second, the resurgence of the COVID made it even more so. So
yeah,
like I'm getting several pings a day about need for blood. So if you get a chance to donate at your local Red Cross, please do.
Yep, that is a great way to give.
They also have they typically do some things, so like first time blood donors, or occasionally when they get a chance to, even if it's not your first time, they'll have little things that you can get, like a t-shirt or a gift card for a merchant of your choice, potentially. I usually go with Amazon. And then also this time, I think it's still going on, they have a chance to be entered in to win like Wonder Woman replicas from the movie. So like her shield and whip or something.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And a Wonder Woman t-shirt, I think.
Wonder Woman. All right.
So check it out.
Yeah, that is a good tip. Please give blood if you can. And then anything else, Randy? If nothing else, we'll be
stay safe and love yourselves and one another.
Yep. And we'll leave everybody with the doctor's promise: never cowardly, never cruel, never give up, never give in. Keep on rocking. Here's some funky outro music. Right.